All righty. So today we have Henry Melson. He's one of the newest members of the Attracting Unlimited Millionaires Community Program, and he's been in the program a little over a month. And so we just wanted to have him on today. So Henry, thank you for hopping on. Would you do us a favor and share a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and your occupation?
Sure. I'm Henry Melson in Buffalo, New York. I'm an insurance agent currently with Bankers Life, but I've been in the business for about 7 years now. Just over the last year, I've been working part time with a goal of getting back in full time, but I wanted to go completely virtual. So I'm glad I found your program.
Awesome, awesome. So tell me a little bit about that. So you tell me a little bit about your journey 7 years in. Wow, that's a pretty long tenure. Can you just let's take a step back and just talk about 7 years ago up until up to a couple of months ago when we first connected.
Sure. So I started out at Combined Insurance, and the goal was to just make some money, get my foot in the door with the insurance or financial services industry. I didn't really have a 100% understanding of my direction there, but I learned a lot. It was a great experience. So I was there for about a year. I got recruited to come to Mutual Omaha, and that's where I learned about the financial advising side of the business. So I came over there. I was there for about 3.5 years, and I learned a lot more. Like this, my whole mind just exploded. Uh, my world was expanded based on the information I got there, and I did okay. I did do okay. But I left the business after that for about a year and went into banking. But I was so miserable, so I was like, I got to get back into it. Um, I found some of the guys from Mutual Omaha. They were like, "Hey, come over here. This is what we're doing now," because Mutual Omaha stopped doing business in New York State. Any new business, so they just shut down their operations. So we had to everyone had to find something else anyway. So I came back into it and went to Mass Mutual, and that was another great experience. But I did not do nearly as well as I wanted to, so it was quite discouraging. So fast forward another year or so, I bounce around again over to Bankers Life, and that's where I'm currently at. So I've been there for 2 years now, and now I'm just at the place where I'm like, hey, I don't want to do anything I used to do because I've seen the cycles before. I get motivated, I get started, I make a bunch of calls. Uh, the it kind of just fizzles out over time. So now, when I found your stuff online, I was like, hey, this might be an opportunity for me to check out because there has to be some sustainability in this business, but I just haven't seen it yet. So I was really, really glad to run across your program.
Awesome, awesome. And yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because a lot of agents that'll be listening to this, they'll be in that same place, right? Talk to me about those cycles, right? Because that's the most important. That's the part of the business, the most important part, but that's the least talked about is those cycles. So can you kind of expound on that a little bit? Like, what are those cycles that you're referring to?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So there's the brand new cycle, the first starting out phase of you coming to any company or any signing up with any carrier. Um, there's that either Project 200, Project 50, whatever they want to call it, where you get your friends and family on a list, and you go through that list, you bang it out, you try to gather as many referrals as you can, friends and family. And I had gone through that a few times, and I'm like, there's no way I'm doing it again. I'm just not doing that same process again. So that gives you some traction. It may give you none, depends on who you are and who your circle is. Um, then there's another cycle of, hey, if you're a life agent, we already know around Christmas time, there's pretty much going to be very little business. And I got introduced to Medicare a few years ago, and they're like, hey, let's everyone ramp up for AEP, open enrollment. And I'm like, yeah, I did it for a few seasons. And I'm like, I really don't like Medicare sales. I really want to focus on life sales. So there was just ebbs and flows at different times of the year, different once you just kind of like go through a certain set of leads or you go through your current network, it's like you can only get so far. Um, so I would do a lot of other marketing, but there was always just the up and down cycle of, hey, I'm gonna get some traction by in the beginning. It's gonna plateau at some point, and then it's actually gonna decline. So, if you don't constantly have a steady source of warm leads or fresh leads, which can get really, really expensive, and everyone's working them. So it's just like, hey, what are you going to do to differentiate yourself within your company, within your market, and within, those who are around you? So, my goal was to find some leads that were warm to hot, that I didn't have to work so hard at, and I didn't have to spend um, 20 to 30 hours out of the week with the prospecting, with the follow up, and running around town just to get stiffed. So I wanted to find a way to get this thing done. It's really, I really did burn myself out at some times. That put a lot of wear and tear on my vehicles over the years. So, I'm
Yeah.
just trying. Yeah.
And that burnout. So what's that like, because you have that high of like something working and then it kind of fizzles out and then you see that cycle happen multiple times, right? And then you kind of hit this wall. So what's that burnout kind of like?
Yeah, the burnout is a place where um, you're not seeing enough return for the amount of work and the amount of money that you put into it. So it's me having a day full of 6 to 8 appointments. I'm running around, and something always happens during the day. You catch a flat tire, uh, you run out of gas because you were just so busy not thinking to put any more gas in the car. You forget to take your lunch, so you're starving the whole day. You're running around just not having enough time. You miss things here and there, miss a signature, so you got to go back to a client. It's just all of the little things that manage this business. The insurance business can get very, very complicated, but I have a full belief that it doesn't have to be. If you know your process, if you know exactly what to do, and if you optimize your process, you don't have to be worn out all the time. So you do all those things that I just mentioned before, all those life events happen throughout the day. And then either, number one, there's either declines that you weren't expecting unexpectedly, there were chargebacks that you weren't expecting, there were other things that were going on, but you realize, hey, maybe I didn't do good enough job qualifying my leads in the beginning. Maybe I didn't warm them up enough. So there was so much to it. But either way, at the end of the day, there was just not enough return for the amount of energy and money that I invested.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's great. And so, yeah, when you look at that position, right? So that's that thing that you're looking for. So what specifically were you looking for when you found us? And actually, let me take a step back. How did you come across the course and our program, anyways?
Yeah, so I found you on Facebook. It was an advertisement, and there was a picture of you behind your desk, just with your head down, working on those leads, and it was something to the effect of you making all those calls or call days or something like that. And I felt that hit me so hard because I hate call days. I just I just don't feel it. I just don't like to sit there all day marketing. I'll do it. I'm good at it. I'm really good at it. I can get a lot of appointments done, but I just don't want to do it. Um, and I just felt like there was a better way. So that message resonated with me. So I clicked the link um, to watch the video. I put my email in. I watched the video and I said, I don't know about this. So you kept emailing me and you kept emailing me. So I started watching it over time. So it took me about 3 months, honestly, of watching videos. And I got to a place where I'm like, hey, I really need to get serious about this because there's something to it. I was watching the testimonial videos to just kind of solidify everything. And I'm like, hey, there is something here. So the results were just insane. There was one guy who was getting like 19 appointments in his first week or something like that. And I was like, that's crazy. It wasn't even really about the money. It was about the activity that he was able to generate that really, really was exciting to me.
Got it. Yeah, and that's what's important to a lot of guys because there's a saying when I was in the business that um, if you have the activity, the premium will come, right? And so a lot of guys are getting stuck at this number, but they're not realizing it's like you need to have a qualified process to where you're thinking in abundance to, you get up and you look at your calendar or you look at your messages. If those things are full psychologically for a rep or an agent, right? You're thinking in abundance, something's good is going to happen throughout the course of the week, throughout the course of the month, right? Great.
Absolutely.
So let's transition into obviously the program, right? So, you've been in the program a little over a month. Would you mind just sharing a little bit about some of the results that you've gotten so far?
Yeah, absolutely. So, in the last month or so, I have found a tremendous results with the LinkedIn campaign. I've been able to connect, actually double. I literally doubled to the number my actual connections on LinkedIn. That's in a matter of about 2.5 weeks. It wasn't even that hard. Using the system that is in place there, I found the conversation. It's a phenomenal conversation opener. It's a phenomenal lead in, and I've captured the attention of so many professionals in my target market who are able to now sit down with their filling up my calendar. So today, not today, excuse me, this week, I already have 7 appointments just off of LinkedIn alone. And so lately I've started implementing the Facebook ads, and I have 2 ads running right now under the same campaign, and one is way outperforming the other. I literally just had like 7 leads overnight off of just one ad, and so we're just waiting for all those results to just come in and start converting into sales. But I see the activity, I follow the program step by step, and I'm just fine tuning things to work properly for me, and I'm starting to see the results.
Awesome. And so, obviously, we live in an age where, skepticism is there, right? But when you look at the old methods of cold calling, door knocking, right, and just beating up the phones on those dial days, what do you say to those guys where, you're smiling on this call, right? Like, I've got things coming in overnight, or like I got 7 appointments when I look down, for the week. And that's because you didn't have to exhaust all of that effort and energy that you had before, right? It's one of those things where we got a system to where it's only going to get better from here, right? We're only going to make this is only going to get more efficient. So what would you say to the people who are watching this video that are agents that are kind of on the fence, kind of like you, right? They've gone through, they've looked at a couple of things, I've gotten their attention, and they've probably been watching a couple of videos for a few months, and they're kind of on the fence and looking to take that next step.
Well, guys, you have to take the time to invest in yourself. I heard a saying from a guy in the business who's very, very successful. He said, either you're going to invest the time and energy, or you're going to invest money. But you'll find what I found since investing the money is I've been able to maximize both. The energy that I spent is more on the important things of the business and less on the mundane and less important things. So just taking that leap is you're going to find results. Definitely still have to put the work in, but the work that you put in is different and it yields different results. So, putting yourself in a position where you have to do every little thing, you're just going to continue to wear yourself out. But why don't you let technology work for you and leverage that in this time?
Awesome. Well, Henry, again, thank you so much. And if we have other folks watching this that may need your help, where can they get a hold of you?
Oh, sure. You can reach out to me on my Facebook business page. Is facebook.com/Melson Enterprises, or they can send me email, melsonenterprises@gmail.com, or shoot me a text, 716-563-7362.
Awesome. So if anyone is needs some help or having any questions about anything financial services related, obviously Henry is available and willing to help you out. But Henry, thank you again for just taking a few minutes to hop on. We definitely appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon. All right.
Thanks, Arturo. Have a great one.
Awesome.